Every year, TSA quietly updates its rules, and in 2025, some of the changes are shocking. Passengers are being stopped, items are being confiscated, and many travelers are left embarrassed at security checkpoints. The truth is, what you don't know can actually ruin your trip. Some bans sound small, but breaking them could get you fined or even delayed from boarding. And mistake number one on this list, that's the most dangerous of all, and it's something travelers keep doing again and again. So welcome back to Flight Decoder. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button because missing these updates could cost you time, money, and maybe even your flight. Let's get started with number 12, and trust me, you'll want to stay with me till the end. When it comes to airport security, this is the one area where TSA has a zero-tolerance policy. Weapons and sharp objects are simply not allowed in your carry-on bag. That means knives, box cutters, razor blades, and even scissors with blades longer than 4 inches are all strictly banned. Many passengers think it's just a small tool, or I forgot it was in my backpack. But TSA doesn't make exceptions. If it's found during screening, it will be confiscated immediately. And depending on the object, you could even face fines. Now, here's what surprises many travelers. Certain sharp items can still go in your checked luggage, but only under strict conditions. For example, kitchen knives, hunting knives, or even tools like saws and screwdrivers are permitted in checked bags as long as they are safely packed. TSA requires them to be secured in a sheath or wrapped so they don't pose a danger to baggage handlers. Throwing them loosely in your suitcase is a recipe for trouble. Your bag could be delayed, flagged, or open for inspection. The most common mistake passengers make is forgetting a small pocket knife or multi-tool in their carry-on. These items are among the most confiscated objects at TSA checkpoints. Imagine rushing to catch your flight only to be pulled aside and forced to surrender something expensive like a Swiss Army knife. It happens every single day because people don't double-check their bags before heading to the airport. The reason behind this rule is obvious but serious: cabin safety. In the confined space of an airplane, even a small sharp object can be used as a weapon. TSA's philosophy is better safe than sorry, so they don't take risks. Remember, these rules exist because of past incidents where such objects posed real threats. Don't make the rookie mistake of leaving a knife or sharp tool in your backpack. It's not just about losing your item. In some cases, you could face questioning, fines, or delays that might make you miss your flight. Always triple check before packing. This is one of those banned items that TSA enforces the strictest rules on, and it's not worth gambling with your trip. This is one of the items that still surprises travelers every single year. Flammable aerosols, things like spray paint, pepper spray, heavy-duty cleaning sprays, and industrial use cans are completely banned by the TSA, whether it's in your carry-on bag or checked luggage. There's no middle ground here. If you're carrying them, they won't make it onto the plane. Now, the reason behind this rule is actually very serious. Aerosol cans are pressurized containers, and once you're inside an aircraft flying thousands of feet above ground, the cabin pressure and temperature can fluctuate. That means these cans can expand, leak, or even explode mid-air. Just imagine the chaos if a can of spray paint bursts inside the overhead bin. It could damage bags, release toxic fumes, or even injure nearby passengers. Airlines and TSA can't take that risk, which is why this ban is absolute. A lot of travelers make the mistake of thinking, it's just a small can, what harm can it do? But the truth is, TSA agents confiscate thousands of aerosol cans every year. Pepper spray is another big one. People think it's a self-defense essential, but inside a pressurized cabin, it's dangerous for everyone on board. Here's the key detail though. Not all aerosols are banned. Toiletry items like deodorant, hairspray, and shaving cream are allowed in travel-size containers, under 3.4 ounces or 100 milliliters, but only in your carry-on liquids bag. Anything larger, even if it's harmless like dry shampoo, will be tossed out at security. So the rule is simple. Industrial sprays, chemical aerosols, and pepper spray, leave them at home. Only pack personal care sprays in TSA-approved travel sizes. It might feel inconvenient, but it's all about protecting you, the passengers around you, and the crew operating the flight. You've probably seen those fancy smart suitcases with built-in phone chargers and GPS trackers. They look super modern and convenient, right? But here's the catch. If the battery inside your smart luggage isn't removable, it could be one of the most dangerous items you take to the airport. Why? Because those lithium-ion batteries can overheat and cause fires, especially when stored in the cargo hold where no one can respond quickly. That's why airlines around the world have put strict rules in place. Smart luggage is only allowed if the battery can be removed. If it's removable, you need to take it out and carry it with you in your hand luggage. For example, away luggage has a removable battery, so it's safe and allowed. But older models like Rimowa or Blue Smart bags with fixed batteries, completely banned. The mistake most travelers make is buying a stylish suitcase without checking the battery rules, only to get stopped at the check-in counter. Imagine spending hundreds of dollars on a bag only to have the airline refuse it on the spot. That's a costly mistake you don't want to make. So here's the golden rule. If you're buying or packing smart luggage, make sure the battery is removable. Otherwise, it stays home. Don't take chances with airline safety regulations, because in this case, your bag could literally be a fire risk at 30,000 feet. And remember, the higher we go on this list, the stricter the rules get. You won't believe how dangerous mistake number 1 is, so stay with me till the end. If you're someone who loves outdoor adventures, camping trips, or even planning a nice barbecue during your travels, you might be thinking of packing your propane tank or small gas cylinder with your luggage. But here's the hard truth. Propane tanks are one of the most strictly banned items on airplanes. According to the TSA 2025 regulations, propane tanks, whether small camping canisters or large barbecue cylinders, are completely prohibited in both carry-on and checked baggage. And this rule applies not just to full tanks, but even to empty ones. The reason is very simple, yet critical. Explosion risk. Propane is a highly flammable, pressurized gas. Even a tiny amount left inside a supposedly empty tank can expand under pressure at high altitude and pose a severe safety hazard. Imagine hundreds of people sitting in a sealed aircraft cabin thousands of feet in the air. Airlines can't take that chance. That's why TSA and every global aviation authority follow a zero-tolerance policy on propane tanks. This catches many travelers off guard. Campers often forget they have a small gas canister inside their stove kit or camping bag, only to have it confiscated at airport security. Some even argue that their tank is brand new and sealed, but unfortunately that doesn't change the rule. It will still be taken away. So what's the solution? If you're traveling for camping or outdoor cooking, the best option is to buy or refill your propane tank at your destination. Outdoor supply stores, gas stations, and camping grounds almost always have propane available, and in most cases, it's much cheaper and safer than trying to fly with it. Propane tanks, full, empty, or somewhere in between, are 100% banned on flights. Save yourself the hassle at security and plan to get your fuel once you land. One of the most confusing items for travelers today is the e-cigarette, also called a vape. Many people carry them in daily life, so they think it's no big deal to take them on a flight. But the truth is, airlines have very strict rules about them. You are allowed to bring your vape, but only in your carry-on bag or your pocket. Airlines do not allow vapes or e-cigarettes in checked luggage at all. The reason is simple. Most vapes run on lithium batteries, and these batteries can overheat or even explode when stored in the cargo hold. If that happens mid-flight, it can be extremely dangerous. There is another important rule that many passengers don't know. You cannot charge your vape on the plane. And of course, you are not allowed to smoke or vape during the flight. If the crew sees you trying to charge it in the seat plug, or if you secretly try to use it in the bathroom, you can get into serious trouble. Some airlines even give fines or permanent bans to passengers who break this rule. To stay safe, always switch your vape off before boarding. Put it carefully in your hand luggage or pocket, and make sure any cartridges or liquids are sealed properly so they don't leak. Even a small leak can create a mess or get you into questioning by airport security. Here's a real example. In 2019, a flight was delayed for hours because a vape battery inside a bag started overheating and releasing smoke. Luckily, it was noticed on time, but it shows how risky these devices can be. So remember, yes, you can travel with a vape, but only if you follow the rules strictly. Keep it with you, never charge it, and never try to use it on the plane. Many travelers love to carry alcohol as a gift or for personal use, but here's something most people don't know. If your bottle is too strong, it's not allowed on planes at all. By too strong, we mean alcohol with more than 70% ABV, alcohol by volume, which is the same as 140 proof. This includes certain types of whiskey, rum, absinthe, or Everclear. TSA rules are very strict here. You cannot carry them in your carry-on bag or your checked luggage. Even sealed bottles are banned if they are over this limit. Why? Because of fire hazards. Alcohol that strong is highly flammable, and in case of an accident or a cabin pressure change, it can create a serious risk of explosion or fire. Airlines also worry about smuggling and misuse of such powerful drinks during flights. Now, here's the important part. Not all alcohol is banned. You can still carry normal duty-free bottles like wine, beer, vodka, or whiskey, as long as the alcohol content is less than 70% ABV. The condition is that these bottles must remain sealed in the duty-free security bag, and you should keep the receipt with you. If you open it before boarding, it might get confiscated. TSA also puts a quantity limit. Each passenger can carry up to 5 liters, about 1.3 gallons of alcohol under 70% ABV, whether in carry-on or checked bags. That's enough for most travelers, but if you go beyond this, security will take it away. If you're buying alcohol abroad, always check the proof before paying. Many local liquors in countries like the Caribbean or Eastern Europe are much stronger than what you usually see in the US and Europe. Stick to bottles below 70% ABV to avoid losing your purchase at airport security. The liquids rule is probably the most famous airport rule in the world. If you've ever flown, you already know it. Every passenger is only allowed to carry liquids, gels, creams, and pastes in containers of 100 milliliters, which is 3.4 ounces, or less. And all of those bottles must fit inside a single clear quart-size zip-top bag. This is called the 3-1-1 rule. 3.4 ounces, one bag, one person. Anything bigger gets thrown away at security. It's the reason why so many travelers have lost expensive perfumes, water bottles, or even shampoo at the checkpoint. But here's the good news. Things are slowly changing. Some modern airports have upgraded their security systems with advanced CT scanners, computed tomography scanners. These machines can create a 3D image of your bag, which allows security officers to see inside your liquids without making you remove them. Airports in London, Helsinki, Amsterdam, and some big US hubs are already testing or using these scanners. At these airports, you may be allowed to bring full-size liquid bottles in your hand luggage. No need for the 100 milliliter restriction. Imagine being able to carry a big bottle of water, your favorite lotion, or even a large perfume without worrying about losing it. However, here's the catch. This rule is not global yet. As of 2025, in most of the United States and many other countries, the old 3-1-1 rule still applies. So you might fly out of an airport that allows full-size liquids, but return through an airport that doesn't, and then security could still take away your items. Always check the official website of your departure airport before packing. Don't assume the rules are the same everywhere. For now, it's safer to keep your liquids under 100 milliliters unless you are 100% sure your airport has relaxed the rules. The liquid ban was first introduced in 2006 after authorities stopped a terrorist plot involving liquid explosives. Almost 20 years later, the world is still slowly moving past that restriction. Technology is finally catching up. One of the most important upcoming changes in US air travel is the Real ID requirement. Starting May 7, 2025, all travelers will need a Real ID to fly on domestic US flights. This means if you're flying from New York to Los Angeles or Chicago to Miami, you cannot board the plane with just a regular driver's license anymore unless that license is a Real ID. So what is a Real ID? It's a special type of driver's license or state-issued ID card that meets new federal security standards. You can recognize it by a small gold star in the corner of your license. If your license doesn't have that star, it's not a Real ID. Without it, you'll either need to bring your US passport, military ID, or another federally accepted document to fly. If you show up at the airport with only a standard license, you'll be denied boarding, no matter how many tickets you've booked or how urgent your trip is. The problem is, millions of Americans still don't have a Real ID, even though the deadline is very close. A lot of people think their current driver's license is enough, but that will no longer work after May 7th, 2025. To make things more difficult, DMVs are often crowded and appointments to upgrade your license may take weeks or even months. Apply for your Real ID as early as possible. Don't wait until the last minute. Bring proper documents when applying, like your birth certificate, proof of address, and social security card. Also, check your state DMV website to see the exact requirements. If you want stress-free travel inside the US after May 2025, make sure you have your Real ID or carry your passport. Otherwise, you might end up missing your flight before it even begins. For many years, passengers flying in the United States were required to remove their shoes during airport security checks. This rule was introduced after the tragic events of 9/11 and specifically after the 2001 shoe bomber incident. Back then, security agencies believed that requiring every passenger to take off their shoes would prevent dangerous items from being smuggled inside footwear. So for more than 2 decades, travelers got used to lining up at security checkpoints, slipping off their shoes, and walking barefoot or in socks through the scanners. But here's the good news. In 2025, the rule has been relaxed at most major US airports. Thanks to the introduction of advanced CT scanners and modern technology, travelers usually no longer need to remove their shoes. These upgraded machines can scan footwear in detail without passengers taking them off, saving time and making the airport process much smoother. For frequent flyers, this is a big relief. Nobody enjoys balancing while taking off shoes in a crowded line or walking on cold airport floors. However, it's important to note that the rule has not been completely eliminated. There are still exceptions. For example, the TSA may ask some passengers to remove their shoes randomly as part of extra security checks. Also, if a traveler is flagged by the system or looks suspicious, officers can still require them to remove footwear. And in smaller airports that don't yet have the latest scanner technology, passengers may still face the old routine of taking shoes off. So what's the best advice for 2025? Always be prepared. A simple tip is to wear easy slip-on shoes when flying. This way, even if you're asked to remove them, you won't struggle with laces or heavy boots. The overall trend is clear. Airports are moving toward faster, more convenient checks, but travelers should still stay ready for occasional old-style procedures. Believe it or not, even in 2025, the Samsung Galaxy Note7 is still one of the very few electronic devices that has a permanent flight ban worldwide. Sounds crazy, right? A phone that came out in 2016 is still making headlines in airport security. But here's why. When the Note7 first launched, it was supposed to be Samsung's big game changer. But soon after release, reports started flooding in about the phone overheating, catching fire, and even exploding due to battery defects. The problem was so serious that airlines around the world had to react quickly. The FAA and other aviation authorities issued an emergency order, completely banning the device from all flights, both carry-on and checked luggage. Unlike other recalls, this one was never lifted because the risk was simply too dangerous to ignore. Even today, if you try to bring a Note7 on a plane, you'll be denied. It doesn't matter if it's powered off, in a protective case, or even in pieces, it's not allowed. Airport announcements in some countries still specifically mention the Note 7 in their safety warnings. That shows just how deeply this phone changed aviation rules. Here's something even more interesting. In the US, not only is the Note 7 banned from flights, but it's also illegal to sell or resell it. That's how strict the rules are. So even if you somehow still have one lying around, it's pretty much a paperweight now. If you own an old device, especially one with a history of battery issues, always double check if it's allowed on flights. Most electronics are fine, but the Note 7 is the ultimate reminder that safety always comes first. If you travel often, one of the most confusing rules is about carrying power banks and spare lithium batteries. These tiny devices power our phones, laptops, cameras, and even drones, but they also come with strict airline rules. In 2025, the TSA and FAA still treat lithium batteries as a serious fire hazard when stored incorrectly. The golden rule is simple: carry on only. Power banks and spare lithium batteries are completely banned in checked luggage. Why? The reason is safety. Lithium batteries have a history of overheating, swelling, and in rare cases, catching fire. In the pressurized cargo hold of an aircraft, a small spark can turn into a dangerous fire that's nearly impossible to control. But in the cabin, flight attendants and onboard fire equipment can handle an incident quickly. That's why airlines insist you keep these batteries with you in your bag. Now let's talk about the limits. Most airlines allow batteries up to 100 watt-hours in carry-on without any issues. If your battery is between 100 watt-hours and 160 watt-hours, like some high-capacity laptop or camera batteries, you'll usually need airline approval before bringing them on board. Anything above that is almost always prohibited for passengers. Many travelers make the mistake of assuming their large drone or camera batteries are fine in checked luggage, only to find their bag flagged, delayed, or even denied. Here's a pro tip: always store your spare batteries in a fireproof travel case, or at least keep the terminals covered with tape to prevent short circuits. For power banks, check the capacity before flying. Most devices will list the watt-hour rating. If it's not listed, you can calculate it from the milliamp hours, or mAh, and voltage. In short, keep all your power banks and spare lithium batteries in your carry-on. Stay within the watt-hour rules and pack them safely. Doing this not only avoids trouble at security, but also keeps you and everyone else on the plane safer.
One of the most commonly confiscated beauty items at airports is cordless hairstyling tools powered by gas or butane. These include popular travel-friendly curling irons and straighteners that many people buy because they don't require plugging into an outlet. They're super handy for quick styling on the go, but here's the catch: they are tightly restricted by the TSA and international aviation authorities. Checked luggage? Absolutely not allowed. Any device with a fuel source, butane cartridge, or gas refill poses a significant fire hazard when stored in the airplane's cargo hold. In fact, cases of leakage and accidental ignition in the past are what led to these strict rules. That's why, if you pack one in your checked bag, you'll almost certainly lose it at security, or worse, delay your flight while it's removed. Carry-on? Yes, but only under strict conditions. TSA allows butane-powered cordless hair tools in your hand luggage, but the device must have a safety cover that prevents accidental activation. This is critical because if the tool switches on mid-flight, the high heat could cause serious safety risks. Each passenger can only bring one such device, and replacement gas cartridges are banned entirely, even in carry-on. On the other hand, electric rechargeable hair tools, like cordless straighteners or curling wands powered by lithium-ion batteries, are fine to carry, provided you follow the usual battery rules. Keep them in your carry-on, not checked baggage. If you're a frequent traveler, skip the butane models altogether and invest in a good rechargeable electric one. Not only will it save you the stress of confiscation, but it's also much safer and accepted worldwide. For female travelers especially, this rule is crucial because butane hair tools remain the #1 confiscated beauty item at airport security. Knowing the rule can save you money, time, and frustration on your next trip.
So there you have it, the 12 biggest TSA rule updates for 2025. From gadgets you absolutely cannot bring on board to surprising changes like relaxed shoe checks, these are the rules that can literally save you from stress, fines, and embarrassing confiscations at the airport. The truth is, most travelers don't bother keeping up with TSA updates, and that's why you often see people getting stopped at security, arguing with officers, or even missing their flights. But now, you're ahead of the game. The next time you pack your bag, you won't just be a traveler. You'll be a smart traveler who knows exactly what to carry, what to leave behind, and how to breeze through security while everyone else is fumbling at the checkpoint. That confidence can save you not just money, but also time and peace of mind. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which TSA rule shocked you the most? Was it the full ban on the Galaxy Note7 even years later? Or maybe the fact that butane-powered hair tools are still one of the most commonly confiscated beauty items at airport security? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's see which rules travelers find the most surprising. And hey, if you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to like this video, share it with your travel buddies, and subscribe to the channel. I'll be bringing you even more insider travel hacks, secret airline tips, and airport survival guides so that your journeys in 2025 and beyond are smoother than ever. Don't just travel, travel smart.